We welcome you to another edition. We welcome you to episode 33 of Battin and Chattin here on the Eastern Observer. Alongside Denis Tuohy, I'm Brandon Natale. Now, before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube to be kept on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and, most importantly, Battin and Chattin. Our show could be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Our show is presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download their newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and many others. Dennis, how you doing today? I know you said that the winter cold is
Uh,
getting to you.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I would love to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm doing fantastic, doing great." No, I've got like a wicked cold.
Well, I appreciate you giving your effort.
Yeah,
You
I'll
being
I'll
here with
try to
us.
get through it. But
Don't worry, we
oh my
got
god,
this.
this
I
time of year,
know.
man. This time of year, it's terrible.
I feel like
Here I
this has
go.
definitely been the winter. Everybody has been sick. You know. I know in December I think I had the flu. I'm not sure what I had. Um,
You
to
get
be
the
honest
flu
with you,
kind of often, huh?
I had the flu.
It's
You
a few
remember when I had
times.
the flu, right?
That's
4 years
frustrating.
ago.
Yeah.
I had the flu 4 years ago, and then I had it when I was like. It seems like it's every 4 years because I had it in 2016. I had it in 2020, and then I guess I had it technically last year, which I don't know if you can really count as 4 years. It was kind of like three. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, it's very. I got from my family thinks I had the flu. I thought it was just a regular, really bad cold. I mean, I don't know, who knows, but it kind of went away quick because I got the flu shot. Like I said, some people get as it's like I said, people can get the flu shot wherever they want. I know that's a whole another different topic. We're not getting into that because, like I said, it's a baseball show. This is not the CDC. But I got quicker. Like I got better quicker. You know, um,
Yeah, I
I was,
hear you.
I still was kind of sick for a little bit, but I didn't feel like sick in bed for like maybe only like a couple days. I know I feel like this is the winter. Everybody's getting sick. I feel like since we've been in quarantine, I feel like it's been kind of our immune systems have definitely kind of been different.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think. I guess it's because you kind of build up little immunities through interaction with people, and I guess because people were, distanced and whatnot for so long that maybe that did take a hit on immune systems. I'm not a scientist. I'm gonna be completely frank. I'm an idiot when it comes to math and science. I'm a complete moron. I'm the last guy you should ever be listening to. I'm lucky if I could put, you know, I'm shocked I ever passed biology class.
I liked biology. I think I was a decent science guy. I think chemistry I was decent in chemistry.
I was horrifically bad in chemistry.
I was not a nerve science guy. I think
Oh no, nowhere was I.
once I was interested in it, I started to and that's I think it was like I was starting to memorize, and I was actually starting to learn a little bit, but not to put myself on the spot. But I didn't pass the regions the first time. But then I did. I passed the second time though. Yeah.
I just barely cleared the earth science regents, like barely, and I just barely passed chemistry. That was like another came down to the wire, and I went to extra help like every day and everything like that. Everything like that.
Mm.
And my high school teacher, when he saw me, he saw me walking in the hallway once, and he's like, "Here, come in a second." So I came into his class, and he was like, "Listen," he's like, "This kid was failing all year long." I was like, "Okay, thank you." He was like, he came to extra help every single day before the state exam, and he passed. It's like, if you go to extra help, you learn, and you do well. I was like, "Yeah, that's true." That's why I said like he's leaving out the part that I literally passed by like 5 points. Like it wasn't like some great performance. And you want to hear something hilarious? I actually forgot. I got the dates mixed up. Yeah, to call my house to come to the school because I forgot to take the regents in
Oh shit.
10th grade.
Oh shoot. My apologies to the viewers out there. My language.
Yeah,
Oh shoot.
I genuinely had no idea that I was that day. Like I was convinced it was later. It wasn't like I just was ducking it. Like I could not believe it. I got a phone call from my guidance counselor, who's also my volleyball coach, and he was like, "Aren't you supposed to be somewhere right now?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Your chemistry reasons?" I was like, "That's not today." He's like, "Yeah, it's right now." And
Oh
I was like,
no.
"Oh my god!" So to go in a separate room. It was a hostile environment. The lady who I was with like the kids before we actually talk about baseball.
Yeah.
I was with the kids who are like English is not their first language. I was in their room with their teacher, and
Right. I know what you
she was so rude to me. Any chance she got, she basically just felt the need to remind me that like you brought this on yourself. And I
are.
just kind of thought to myself, I was like, lady, not for nothing. I'm not good at chemistry. I don't need your nonsense. I
Yeah.
really don't.
Man,
Like
what a
I outright told my teacher afterwards. He says, like, all things considered, how do you think you did? It's like, I think I did really good. The teacher was breaking my balls for 2 hours, but I think I think I might have passed, you
Right.
know. And he was like, yeah.
But
He's like,
hey, yeah.
this is not the way you wanted to go out with all the extra help and all the extra credit you did. I was like, no, it's really not. It's
No,
really
no.
not.
What year was this?
This was 10th grade, so this is 2016.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, man. It was a good time.
Yeah. And speaking
Uh,
of sicknesses, that year I had pink eye. The
ooh,
day I got pink eye, I got Coxsackie.
oof, give me the chills just
Day I
when you
got
said
back.
that. I got Coxsackie one time. I remember I went to the doctor and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got Coxsackie." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know what
I
just
hated it. I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
yeah, no, it was bad.
Painful.
I thought I had like a
Painful.
cold or a flu, but then it
Painful.
wasn't painful. I felt like I had a cold or I was sick.
I
But
got it from the freaking wrestling team because they brought it into our school. The barbarian horde that they are, coming in with every disease under the sun.
don't tell Coach
Filthy,
Shaver.
filthy, filthy class of people. They really are. They
Yeah,
just everything.
I tried it for a day and then it wasn't for me. I thank my dad he took me out because he said I'm like, hey, look, it's a lot. I mean, it's he was looking, like I'm thankful he took me out of it. Only football kid, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I didn't do wrestling. I had no
no,
interest in it. But you know, every single major illness that ever came into my school while I was there came into the wrestling team.
right,
Filthy people. Do you know one kid that we graduated with won a bunch of games because he would just throw up on his opponents?
really? Wait,
Yeah,
legit?
legit. He would throw up on people if they were better than him because who would want to fight somebody? You have the option to forfeit or not if you get thrown up on. The guy who throws up isn't obligated to lose. So he found
This
the
guy did it on purpose.
this person found a loophole, and if somebody was better than him and he knew they were going to beat him, he would throw up on them.
That's messed up. I'm not gonna lie.
Very messed up. And then one person figured it out and whooped him. Absolutely whooped him.
Good for them.
So, and a buddy of mine whooped him in an art class once. It was hilarious. I was right there for it.
Yeah, good for him. Well,
Hilarious. You actually
uh,
know the
you know,
person in the art class who
wait,
beat me on him.
wait. In wrestling, he beat him in wrestling. You said.
Oh no, he they got into it in the art class. He
I
smoked him.
was if it was
You know the
wrestling,
story.
yeah. I feel like if it was wrestling,
No,
I would.
it was a wrestler. It was a wrestler who got
No,
whooped
I know who you're talking
by
about.
an
No, I'm
art
saying
guy.
if this
It's
was a
hilarious.
wrestling match, I was gonna be like, all right, bet. But no, like a fight in the class. Oh yeah, no. I think I know
Oh
who you
yeah,
talk.
no.
I think I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. I'll ask you
yeah.
after.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's dive more into no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a baseball show, right? This
no,
is in
this is in the CDC
yeah, the
or this
glory
is in Doc.
days
We're not Doctor Phil.
playing at high
Actually, he's a
school.
psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Doctor Oz. Yeah, this ain't the Doctor Oz
Dr.
show.
Oz. That guy's a
This
quack,
is
isn't he?
he's something. But
He's like a
um,
lunatic.
like I said, this is not the Doctor Oz show. This is the Battin and Chattin podcast here on the Eastern Observer.
This is a hell
Um,
of a start.
yeah, hey, yeah, man. But like I said, I hope you feel better. There's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot
Thank you.
going on in the baseball world. Whether you got Pete Alonso, I know Devin Williams is staying on the Brewers. That's a whole nother discussion. Fanatics, their players aren't messing with their jerseys, and we actually got an article from the Athletic to bring up to talk about it. And but I think we should talk about something one like that's actually really big. Rob Manfred, He just announced today that 2029 is when he's likely going to finish as commissioner of the MLB. Bring us some more information on that. That actually came on some pretty big news. Rob Manfred has definitely been a very controversial figure throughout his time as commissioner in Major League Baseball. His contract will end after this will be yes. He has served as commissioner since 2015. He will step down once it comes to January of 2029, not the end of that year, right at beginning of the year 2029. Which is crazy to think of. Think of closer to that than we were to 2019. That's a whole nother discussion. He said to reporters, "This is going to be my last term." He said that on Thursday, which is today. Manfred said he informed team owners about the news before they voted in July to grant him a third 5-year term. In quote, he says, "I am 65. I just started a 5-year term. Do that math. That makes me 7 years old. You can only have so much fun in one lifetime." I have been open with them about the fact that this is going to be my last term, and this is according to Julia Stumbag of the from Bleacher Report. And yeah, that's what I say. That's some information from that article. But yeah, wow, crazy. He's been commissioner for that long. It's crazy to see how he puts the emphasis on the fact that he's up there in age. He kind of realizes like, hey, I kind of want to have some time to relax and be with my family and just enjoy life because he
Hey,
basically said, yeah, know what he said?
if he doesn't want to be baseball commissioner, he can always run for president. Oh.
There you go. I mean, he's got the experience.
No, he's got the age. That's what I'm talking about. He's a
That's
spring chicken compared to these two freaking geriatric morons.
Oh yeah, that's true. I see what you went there. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, polarizing to say the least. I honestly think that it's always in vogue to hate on the commissioners. I think Adam Silver is the best right now. People forget right now everybody loves Roger Goodell. 5 years ago, he was hated.
Oh yeah, I remember
Despised, loathed.
beginning of watching football. Like
He was
growing up,
hated.
he was very very hated. A lot of players did not like him. Like players came up like publicly to talk about how to bash Roger Goodell.
And
Um,
yeah, and now everybody's like, "Oh, Roger Goodell is so good," even though he literally hasn't done anything like different. So I don't know if it's that people just overhated him or they just see the money the league is bringing in and realize they don't want to rock the boat.
yeah, it could be
Gary
done.
Bettman, like hockey fans hate that guy. I don't really understand why. I'm not a hockey guy. I'm not going to pretend I am. Adam Silver it's kind of case by case with him. Sometimes people think that he's in the right. Sometimes people think like he's way off base. Personally, I think the NBA has gotten too gimmicky, but whatever. But it seems like pretty universal. Most people don't like Rob Manfred. Players don't like him. Owners, I don't know. I guess owners do like him. They just voted him in, but players don't really like him. Media don't really like him, and fans certainly don't. But I do think that he gets a bad rap. Like when he called the trophy just a piece of metal,
Yeah,
wasn't wrong. He
yeah, but the
wasn't wrong.
context of it all.
Like I'm not saying that like I understand that he trivialized it and whatnot, and I get that if you're a player being offended by it, but it was also like you do need to kind of prioritize at that time, like COVID and other objectively more important pressing matters, like grow up. I understood that part of it. I think he should have been harder on the Astros, a lot harder on the Astros. Uh, at this point, like Pete Rose is still banned from baseball. He was up for parole or whatever. I don't know what phrasing they use. He's
Yeah,
up for that a few years ago, and Manfred still said no. That didn't really bother me, but that's something that people might bring up at some point. Um, and just like little things, like some of the rules that have been implemented. I don't mind the runner on second, but I think it should come later in the game. I think it should come after the 12th inning, so everybody gets an extra inning at bat, and then like almost like a shootout kind of thing. You put a runner on second. At that point, after 12 innings, yeah, wrap it up. People say,
Yeah.
but what about like those long epic games? Yeah, like what? Like literally the one from 1985 when it was Braves Mets. If you can find me the other one, I'll gladly shut up. You're not going to.
Yeah, people keep forgetting he implemented these new rules, which kind of ultimately changed the game of baseball in a
And
way.
he saved it
So
this last year. I don't think you can argue that.
was that he's what?
I don't think you can argue against. He saved it last year, getting rid of the shift, making the bases bigger, made the game more exciting. The pitch clock, you could be mad about it and be a purist. And one thing that kind of grinds my gears a bit is people say, learn to just hit the other way. Ted Williams had to learn to hit the other way. Well, nothing against Ted Williams, but back then you maybe had 3 or 4 guys in the division who could throw 100 miles an hour. Now there's about 10 guys on a roster that can do it.
Right.
So it's a totally different world. And the shift needed to go. I think of guys like Mark Teixeira and Ryan Howard and Crush Davis, guys that at the end of the career, the shift was just murdering them. That Davis not so much, but Teixeira and Ryan Howard, it was like sad watching the shift just kill them because they had no athleticism. They couldn't run. So it was just an automatic out every time. And it needed to be changed. So I like that. Once again, it could have been harder on the Astros. Are you trying to tell me the only player who had anything to do with the Astros cheating scandal just so happened to be the only player who had literally nothing to lose except a managerial job? That's the only guy. Okay. Yeah. All right. Whatever. Carlos Beltran is freaking Kaiser Soze. All right. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So some of it very divisive. Overall, I think he's overhated, but I'm still not a fan. That's my take.
Yeah, no, I think that was perfectly well said. I think he's definitely an interesting figure in the baseball world. Anytime I get what he was trying to say. It's just a piece, but he had, like a lot of people can interpret that differently than someone like maybe, like maybe you or any other player or just or person who just it just didn't sound right, didn't come out right from what he said it. That's a lot of people work hard for that piece of metal. So it's like I said, I would have been more careful with his words. You know, um, because at the end of the day, it's the MLB PR team. They're gonna, it's not that's gonna be a bit difficult task to try to defend you. A public relations team, they're gonna have a field day with that. Um, the Astros scandal too. That was definitely pretty interesting how he handled that. I know didn't the players? I think Beltran was the only one that kind of got scapegoated from it though. He said he was the one that was like the big part of it, right?
Yeah, he was literally the only one who had any repercussions. He lost his
Right.
job at the Mets. And that wasn't a league sanction. It was the Mets decided to fire him for the PR of it. Maybe they could have kept him. Who knows?
Yeah, honestly, no, I don't know. No, when I heard about it, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted him gone
I
because
remember
I
that.
just
Yeah.
didn't like that. I don't know. It just didn't look good, and it was huge. That Astro scandal was huge. And I remember on the BDJ Talk
Yeah.
Sports Show, we used to cover it pretty heavily. We covered it heavily. I felt
Yeah,
bad.
because our co-host Joshua Gable was an Astros fan. So
Yeah, it was a but it was a big story in sports. Like it was, you couldn't get away from it. I don't know if the media was just drawn to it or something like that.
and it came out right before COVID. It was the last big news story before COVID that I can
Yeah.
remember in sports.
I wonder what would have happened if I feel like a lot of people missed out on like what the Astros would have went through that season. I feel like
Dude,
yeah,
they would have been.
they
Oh
got
my
they got so
god.
they got lucky.
They're lucky stuff wouldn't have gotten thrown at them. Honestly, in places like Boston, New York,
Oh,
Philly.
forget it.
Oh my god.
I mean, even the next year it was kind of like a little hectic. Even it was even hectic in 22. I mean, I feel like that rivalry is kind of going to be like that maybe for like at least the next couple years. Um, just from what we saw, like that was like 2 years ago. I don't know what it's like now. I don't know what's going to be like this year. I still would go to an Astros Yankee game just for the fun of it. Like I said, I'm a diehard Mets fan, but I'll go to any baseball game. Like I'll go to that.
Yeah.
I remember I said it. I'm like, and Josh. Luckily, we caught that with Josh before he went back to Houston.
Yeah.
I said it. I'm like, let's my birthday weekend. Let's go to it. Just because it was, it was definitely an interesting environment too. Those were great
Yeah.
seats too. Those were definitely great seats.
Those were
But
good
it
seats.
just anytime Altuve or Bregman or I think Springer, especially Altuve, you can hear them from the freaking Empire State Building, all the way
The
from
one
the
thing.
Bronx to the.
Oh, continue. I cut you off.
You could hear them from the Bronx to like the Montauk Lighthouse. That's how loud the boos were. Like it was.
Yeah.
They do not like him. He's no.
One thing I want to bring up with Altuve, he's a mob wife. Anytime I see the whole thing come up, he's Carmela from The Sopranos. Anytime I see the Astros cheating scandal come up and someone says Altuve, they said, if you look at the bangs, he wasn't benefiting from it. He wasn't benefiting from it. So RBIs, he wasn't benefiting from it. There we go. That's English.
There you go.
Runs scored, he wasn't benefiting from it. Nailed it. When a guy's on base who got there cheating and now a pitcher has to pitch differently, he's not benefiting from it. He's a mob wife.
It's
He
Edie
knew what
Falco.
was going on. He benefited from it and kept his mouth shut. So
Yeah, no.
while he wasn't the one throwing somebody in the freaking Meadowlands, he benefited from it. He got the
Right.
nice jewelry. He got the nice Escalade. He got the nice house. He got to make some real estate deal so he could, keep busy. He was a mob wife. He went out for his little luncheons. He sat there. He made his snide, gossipy comments. That's exactly what he was.
Maybe he should be Carmela Soprano in The Sopranos.
Yeah, seriously. That's
Or
exactly what he
give him
was.
blonde hair. It was the
Yeah, the
gabagool.
little hair. Yeah.
It was the gabagool. I don't know.
Yeah. Seriously.
But
So
yeah.
anytime people say like, I'm getting it out of the system because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity on Battin and Chattin to say that.
No, go ahead.
That drives me crazy. But it's like when people say that, I immediately, you know what that tells me right away? You don't know ball. You don't know ball. As simple as that. You don't know ball. Like people, I don't know what to tell you guys. People are like, well, look at this stat and that stat and that stat. It's like, okay, well, I'll tell you what. Listen to actual pitchers and how they think and how they work and how they actually play the game. Just a thought.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So I was glad when Joe Kelly threw it at Carlos Correa.
Joe
My
Kelly
brother hated it.
He gets in a lot of fights, Joe Kelly.
My brother hated it. He was like, that's stupid. That's immature. Be the bigger man. That's what my brother said at the time. And I was like, yeah, but these guys cheated or whatever. And what? And I was explaining to him and all that. He's like, so what? He's like, this guy could have gotten seriously hurt for what? I was like, oh.
He's got a point, you brother. He does.
He wasn't exactly like entirely wrong. I'm just a Neanderthal of gladiatorial combat. So I told him, I was like, yeah, dude, don't you watch UFC? And he was like,
yeah. Well, no, I mean,
he's like, yeah, but both of those guys know that they're getting into a fight. This guy just went to swing a bat. So that's fair.
Yeah,
two sides to the coin.
But yeah, just it's that Astros. But either way, so going back to Rob Manfred, it's interesting. Maybe he could have handled that a little differently. I know a lot of people feel differently about how he could handle it. Maybe not ban the players, but maybe give them at least suspend them. They like you said, they got no repercussions. I feel like AJ Hinch is kind of another player that, not a player, man. Like he's another person,
Manager.
figure, right? Manager. I know. I was gonna say he's another figure in the scandal that kind of get some repercussions from it. He lost his job.
Yeah, then he went to the Tigers and has been terrible since. So
so I guess that's another repercussion.
Maybe he needed to cheat in the first place. So next time I talk to Josh, I'm going to ask him if he would have rather kept AJ Hinch or have Dusty Baker. I wonder what Astros fans would say.
That's a very good question. I mean, I feel like Dusty
No,
Baker
it's not.
definitely.
I think anybody would have said Dusty Baker in a heartbeat. So they really, yeah, wow,
I
what
don't
a
know.
punch.
I don't know. It's interesting though. I mean, they were decent with AJ Hinch. They went to two World Series. Well, two,
Gee,
you know,
Brandon, why were they
two
decent?
World Series. Depends how you want to phrase it. If they even would qualify to some people, you know what I mean. Um, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, I feel like everybody would say Dusty Baker. I think he's a very loved figure, Dusty Baker. He's great. So it's sad that he had to retire, but he was in the league forever, and now he's like in a slow roll with the Astros.
With the
And so,
Giants.
but yeah, and the Giants too. Yeah, and the Giants. So it's definitely
He's in
interesting to
a
see how he could have how Rob
advisory role.
Manfred. So I guess that's one thing. And yeah, I mean, being a commissioner of a sport, it's not easy. I feel like the only great commissioner was really David Stern of the NBA back in the day.
The David Stern thing, it depends on how you look at it. Did David Stern rig the league? Maybe. There's a lot of evidence you can point to that some of the finals and whatnot were pretty rigged. The matchups, at least. It's like Lakers versus everybody. In the playoffs, Rasheed Wallace got ejected for looking at a referee. Uh, what are you supposed to say to that?
Right. No, he was part of the. He was part
And
of
I
the era.
understand the Portland Jailblazers of 2000, and they didn't want them in the finals. Then in 02, you had the Kings. In 06, you had the Mavericks. And it's just really bizarre series. And there's also the referee gambling scandal with Tim Donaghy under his watch. So the David Stern thing really is, some of it is revisionist, but I also do think so many other commissioners are so bad that even with all those scandals, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not as bad as Bud Selig, for example, who just, another mob wife. It just, you know what? Go ahead, take steroids. Go ahead. WWE outlawed steroids 10 years before Major League Baseball did. I don't think too many people are aware of that. That's a joke. I'm being serious, but that's pathetic. That WWE, a sport that's predetermined, was more serious about cracking down on PEDs than an actual sport.
Right. Yeah.
The first drug test happened in 1968 with the Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics, I forget. They started penalizing PEDs in 04, 03, something like that. Brandon, are you kidding me? So, people that say, well, Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, Jose Canseco shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, Gary Sheffield shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. You tell me. And by the way, all those other guys from the 80s and 70s and 60s, they're popping amphetamines like Mike and Ike's. So
Mike and
there's that.
X. Damn, Mike and X. That's a very good. That's a interesting comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not making that up. They used to literally have a bucket of greenies. Greenies is what they called them.
Mm.
And they would take that and they would take coffee, drink coffee right afterwards. And it would kickstart the amphetamine. And just about every player did it. So it's not like, when you're thinking of a guy like that, that's letting that go on, it's not that hard if you're David Stern to be like, so what if my referees are corrupt?
Okay, so
FBI said it was only
maybe
one of them. Well, I got enough for me.
yeah. Okay, so maybe he was a little controversial. Little controversial, David Stern. So I won't quote him as the perfect.
I don't know who would be the
Um,
best sports commissioner.
I want to reiterate on that.
I guess maybe like an NFL guy from like the 70s
Paul
would be
Tagliabue
the
was pretty good. People, he's in the Hall of Fame.
because football times where they had like a lot of expansion or something like that.
Paul
The money,
Tagliabue was very great in the
The money they were bringing in, man.
He was a very great commissioner in the NFL. He was very good, especially when 9/11 happened. He in the NFL started to. They were the ones to kind of say like, hey, like let's cancel games for a week so we can kind of recover for a little bit. This suffered a very great, not great, very like devastating tragedy. And I know you know what I mean when I said that. Um, Not great.
Yeah,
But
of
it was
course.
very devastating tragedy. Like let's just take a week off to just heal and be with our loved ones and just help America get back on their feet. That's what Michael Strahan said. Um, like I said, not great, like devastating. That's a better word to say it. And then yeah, like I said, the expansions bringing in the Panthers and Jacksonville, and also bringing it, the Titans when they moved, and then the Houston Texans coming back to Houston. Houston getting a team going there. He was from Seattle, and oh wow, so he was also chairman of board of directors for Georgetown University. That's pretty cool. So that's where he got his education. But he's in the he's in the Hall of Fame. He was definitely a great commissioner. Let me read up on what else he did. As 17 years commissioner, he supervised. His leadership was featured in leading journals, including the Economist, Fortune, and Business Week. So yeah, he was definitely a well-renowned figure throughout the NFL. And then after him, that's when Roger Goodell came in. Pete Rozelle was a good commissioner too. And I mean, the NFL kind of had some good commissioners. I guess it kind of was maybe Roger Goodell that kind of was kind of a little more controversial. Well, who knows? Like I said, no commissioner is perfect. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how it is.
Yeah, in conclusion, like I said earlier, I think Manfred is overhated, but I don't think he's great.
That's a fair argument. Yeah, I agree.
Moving on. What do we want to go with? Do we want to go with Kyle Bradish? Do we want to go with jerseys? Do we want to go? What direction do we want to go in?
Let's go. Let's talk about the jerseys.
Go ahead, Brandon. Let me hear it.
It was very interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I know that the jerseys is very interesting. A lot of players are going nuts about them, and let me look up the article from the Athletic. Let me just get it. Okay, so a lot of the players have been coming out against the new uniforms that have now been dressing, as the title says here, might be players dressing down Nike fanatics over new uniforms that look like a replica. No, I will not create a free account. Thank you. As Angels outfielder Taylor Ward says that it looks like a replica. Feels kind of papery. Could be great when you're out there sweating. Maybe breathable, but I haven't had the opportunity yet to try it out. But by the looks of it, does not look like a $450 jersey. So far, thumbs down by Angels reliever Carlos Estevez. Was in a Tizzy, not Tizzy, Tizzy. Sounds like a New York way of saying that word. Over the new threads. When I wear my pants, I feel like I'm wearing someone else's pants. That's interesting. Um, I guess they have a different feel. It's the back of the players. Michaelis said they look cheap. And yeah, this is article coming from the Athletic. I mean, judging by the look of this, like it doesn't look too impressive.
They were fine last year.
But they're the
Listen,
same.
if the quality of Fanatics is the same jersey I got when I was in Miami, it is not like a high quality jersey whatsoever. I think I've worn it on here a few times. My teal Marlins jersey. I don't feel like going upstairs to get it, but
Okay.
it's not like it's not like if it was something I ordered and spent money on and went out of my way to buy, not just something as like a memento of going Lone Depot Park and having a blast, I would definitely be like angry about it. It's not a good quality jersey at all. And you know me, I'm more of I don't know if I'd say I'm more of a jersey guy than you, but I buy a lot of jerseys over the years. Bought a lot of jerseys over the
No,
years,
hey, I mean, well,
and
I try to get a jersey at the
yeah,
right, like at the right moment when it counts. I mean, I try to because um, I know recently I would get another. I get a lot of like football jerseys. I would say a lot of Jets. I don't know. I can never have like one player. I mean, I have an Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, I didn't think he was gonna go down. Like the Jets are supposed to get new jerseys. They're gonna make their jerseys permanent now. Like, which, not that I wasn't a fan of the jerseys they had on now. I like the black. I didn't think I didn't like it. I wasn't a big fan of it when it first got. I thought they were decent, but I wasn't a fan of getting rid of the original jerseys they had on because it was one of the only parts of my childhood I had left. So it was decent. I don't have one current jersey from the Jets uniforms now, which um I like these new uniforms now that they have on the white. Like I said, I don't mean to bring football into it, but I like these uniforms
sorry.
that they have on now because they just look different. They look nice. It's like nostalgic. The nice '80s look the Jets had, and they're gonna make it permanent now, and they're gonna actually have a green version and a black version, which I think is pretty cool. So I know these teams out here they're having ring ceremonies while the Jets are having fashion shows, but I like this. I like this new look. Like I'm saying, I think it's the start of a new era, a new change of scenery. So like give her to these jerseys that remind you of the Adam Gase and the bad Jet years, and just, hopefully these jerseys could be the start of something of winning. You know what I mean? So I when those come out, I will get new Jet jersey. Now getting back to the MLB jerseys, I mean I have a Mike Piazza. I mean I know it's probably different stitching. I mean I don't know if it's the same thing with Fanatics or from Nike or maybe Adidas, but I mean I like it. If I had to get no, I mean, I look at the jerseys; they look fine to me. I never even knew there was a difference. It's cool to see that the players kind of notice that there's other changes in the jerseys. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell. Then again, I'm not playing. I'm not out there. I'm not on the field. So it's the players are giving us more of the insight.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find it for some reason, but I saw one. It was a Logan Gilbert before and after, and it looks terrible. It looks terrible. I don't know if it's a player jersey or if it's a fan, like what you would buy. It looks so bad. So I guess if you see the side by side, you can understand exactly why they're getting in a tizzy, as
Heisey.
Carlos Estevez was, according to that article. Um, yeah, interesting. Interesting. This was not what I was expecting to come out of the first week of pitchers and catchers reporting. I was expecting like, whoa, so and so hit 103. There's always that guy.
Yeah.
That guy you don't like starts flame throwing early on, and then it just doesn't pan out for him as like a
Right.
fastball guy. I hope that made sense because when I said it, I wasn't really making sense there. But
I thought it did.
like, yeah, I was expecting the regular pitchers catchers report things to come out like, watch out, this free agent or some like 25-year-old who we just got. Whoa, really blowing people away. That's usually what you get. And instead, it's like, these jerseys suck. These are an embarrassment. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Tell me how you really feel, Taylor Ward.
I think I was gonna say, what do you think? So now, obviously, pitchers and catchers just came out. What do you think of what's going on in the baseball world as pitchers? What are you most looking forward to as spring training comes around? The whether it's your Yankees or it's my Mets, what do you think is the hot topic going on right now as
I
spring training comes up?
I think it's easy to sit here and say, how is Cody Bellinger, JD Martinez, Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, all free agents? And Jordan Montgomery, the 5 Boris clients, all 5 of them are still free agents.
Mm.
Unbelievable. Who would have thought this? This late. 30 out of 30 teams, pitchers and catchers have reported for. 30 out of 30. Kind of crazy.
Why? I know we always talk about it, but why is the market so slow? I don't understand. These players take forever, I feel like.
I don't know. And Manfred just came out today and said, I guess somebody asked him about it, and he said he wants a deadline for free
Yeah,
agents.
I have it up right now. I was just gonna bring that up. He revealed on Thursday that the league prefers a free agency period in December that contains 2 weeks of flirt activity and includes a deadline, according to Alex Spear of the Boston Globe. In quote, we would prefer to have free agency signing period, ideally in December with a deadline, Manfred said. However, the commissioner did note that the league made proposals regarding a free agency deadline to the Major League Baseball Players Association that were not well received. And that's, because the article also does talk about how Cody Bellinger's a free agent and have other impact players also on the market too. And yep, that is coming from Zach Baki of the Bleach Report. So, I mean, yeah, I just it's slow the market. I get it, like it's different. Like baseball's way different than any other sport, but it's like how these players still free agents. It's mind boggling, you know.
Just strange.
Would have thought Jordan Montgomery would have signed right away. I feel like
I
if
thought
I'm the
so
team,
too.
yeah, if I'm a team
I
like
thought
the
he would
Mets,
have.
like if you need to let, I mean, but they have Sean Manaea, but I mean, at least to go after JD Martinez. It sucks because I know last week there were rumors that the Mets were in on him and that it was, but they're not close on a contract. At the same time, like if you add him to the team, like they got a decent team, you know.
Yeah.
So the lineup's decent. Just pitching's all right. Bullpen has some depth, but you add him to that lineup, it'd be decent. When that lineup gets hot, it gets hot.
It's just bizarre to me because it's not just that they're not getting jobs. I don't even know if any of these guys are getting offers. Like, there's no rumors at all. None. It seemed like earlier in the year, it seemed like Bellinger was going to make a decision any day. And then that was in December when he was meeting with a bunch of teams. And it was like, oh, after the new year. I was like, all right, that's usually standard. And then you haven't heard anything about him since.
Right.
I haven't heard of any meetings, haven't heard of any negotiations. No, literally no news. Bizarre. Just really strange. So to me, I think that's the biggest news right now. Especially, if somebody gets hurt, the Orioles. If I'm the Orioles, I'm signing Blake Snell right now. Kyle Bradish, who had the best ERA of any American League pitcher in the second half with a 2.35. I got to check myself here. Hold on. Where was I? Well,
You tell me.
2.34. Oof. 2.34 ERA in the second half of the year. Young kid for the Orioles. And I think he was a rookie. Wasn't he a rookie? Is that wrong on that?
Who's
I think
up?
he might have been. Kyle Bradish of the Orioles. Let me see. Pre-arb eligible. Yeah, I guess he's not a rookie anymore. I guess he hit. So, yeah, man, he's just a really good player. He had a 2.83 ERA total last year, a 3.86 for his career, and now he's a tear in his UCL. And he's saying apparently he wants to try to pitch through it. I think that's a terrible idea. He's only 26 years old, or going to be 27 this year. That's a terrible idea. I think that's a completely awful idea for him. Get what if you need surgery, get it now. If you're the Orioles, just sign Blake Snell. Why not?
Mm.
You play at Camden Yards. Left field is 390 feet away. He's a lefty, so teams can't exactly. You can't get burned with teams stacking up righties against you. Why not? I
I
think
feel like
that
the
would be a
problem.
perfect fit.
I feel like the problem with Blake Snell. I feel like he's commanding too much money. And eventually, it's gonna come down. I get it. He's trying to get the top dollar while he can. If that opportunity comes, depends if a team is desperate to sign him. But eventually, if you really want to play baseball, then you're gonna have to take what you get.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, if I'm him, I have no problems waiting. He's coming off a Cy Young award. He's won 2. One in the American League, one in the National League. Isn't it just him and Randy Johnson like ever? I'm going to double check that. How many pitchers have won Cy Young in both leagues? Maybe Clemens did it? 7 pitchers. Oh, I was right. Clemens, Blake Snell, Mad Max, Roy Halladay, Randy Johnson, Pedro, and Gaylord Perry. All of them are Hall of Famers, except for Clemens. But yeah, the other ones are all Hall of Famers. So if I'm Blake Snell, if my first game is July 1st, so be it. You shouldn't be signing a prove it deal just because you walk a lot of people. That's crazy. Is he the baddest dude on the field or not? If he's the baddest dude on the field, pay him the money. So I respect what he's doing. I
Okay.
respect what all the guys are doing. Get your money. But I do also think, if you think you're worth 15 million, you'd look awfully stupid not settling for 10 and walking away with 0. If you're a guy like JD Martinez, who might just be an older cat, and the age is scaring people off, despite having almost like a career year last year, he's terrific. So, a lot of teams could use a JD Martinez, man. I wanted him on the Marlins bad. I
He's
could
still
see
out
him.
there.
I could see him on a bunch of teams.
At the end of the day, I could see him being a Met. If
I could
Jorge
see that too.
Soler,
That's a good fit.
if Jorge Soler could sign with the Giants, right? Like if he could finally get a deal, I feel like it's gonna happen with JD Martinez. I don't know if it could be with the Mets, but it could definitely happen to JD Martinez.
Yeah. No, dude, you're right. Joey Votto is still a free agent. I think Zach Greinke is. Some of these guys are going to have to retire, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. As much as I like Joey Votto and Zach Greinke, I don't know if there is a fit. Rich Hill, another one. So it's definitely an interesting time. So that to me is the big news so far, spring training. Everything else, it's the Kyle Bradish thing. That dude, I don't know, man. My man, if you're listening to this, I doubt you are, but if you are,
Yeah, you
get
never
what you
know.
need to get with the kind of surgery you need to get. Don't make it worse. Do not make it worse. Trying to pitch through it, absolutely. It's spring training, my man. Take it easy. And honestly, shame on the team too for letting him do it. You know. So we'll see what happens with that. But some arbitrations. Luis Arias lost his arbitration. Oh, it's a shame.
Do you think Alonso is gonna? At the end of the day, do you feel like he's gonna be with the Mets?
No. No, I don't think he's going to finish the year in New York.
He gets traded at the deadline.
I think he gets traded before or at the deadline. Yeah.
That's gonna suck.
It's just, you know what it is? David Stearns is coming over. He's a Brewer guy. That's always the way they've done business. Now, the Mets have a bigger checkbook than the Brewers, despite that owner owning the Brewers and the Atlanta Hawks. So he's not a complete pauper, but whatever. We'll look past it. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand why they haven't signed him already, but if they haven't signed him already, I don't think it's going to happen. Now, it could just be he wants to go to free agency and test the market out, see what he can get. Just peace of mind. Why not?
That's what it sounds
But
like.
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, I
I
get his
guess I guess if you're a Met fan, maybe you can take some solace in the fact it took Rhys Hoskins forever to get signed by the Brewers. And, if you lose Pete Alonso, where's he going to go? What team desperately needs a first baseman? Well, he's better than a lot of other first basemen out there. If they're a lot cheaper than him, and they will be, is it really better to sacrifice? I don't know. We're just making numbers up. 1.5 wins above replacement, but for a $10 million difference. That $10 million can get a few different pieces that more than make up for that difference and more. That's what teams look at. WAR per dollar.
right.
WAR per million is a stat that gets thrown around now. So it's kind of an interesting spot for him to be in. But if you're a Met fan, maybe there is some optimism that's worth having, given that, well, where else is going to go? Kind of an interesting spot, I guess. The Yankees, when it looked like we're going to lose Aaron Judge, that was brutal because any team needs an outfielder or a DH. A first baseman isn't a very specialized position because nowadays coaches think they can just throw anybody out there. But it is in the extent that it's only one spot. There's only 30 of them. Aaron Judge, you could talk yourself into him being in 90 different spots. So it's different. I hope that made sense.
No, I agree. I think it did make sense. It's just it's very interesting to see how it's gonna work out. I would like him to be meant forever for long term.
As would
What's
I.
what's gonna happen? I think it's gonna suck. I hope it's not gonna be what happened with the Angels and Otani when Otani left literally to go next door, and the
Oh, I
Astros
don't
and the Astros got nothing.
mean the Angels. I
I
don't
meant,
think
I
the
meant the Angels. I'm
Yankees.
sorry.
I don't think the Yankees would take him. But I also think that if they offer him a qualifying offer, you would get a draft pick.
Well, I'm not saying he would go to the Yankees. I'm saying if they were to not trade him and not get anything in return, he would just leave, like what happened with the Islanders and John Tavares.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
That would suck. Even though the Mets did kind of replenish their farm system, if they do this, this would definitely double that. But you know, he's kind of a homegrown type player. It's how do you let that go?
I know this is hard for Mets fans to hear. I don't think the trade market is that high for him for the same reason I just laid out. One, you don't know if he's going to resign with you. And two, like I said, the difference between a power hitting first baseman and the first baseman you have with the money you would have to spend, is it really worth it? And especially you have to give up prospects on top of it.
Right.
I think a lot of teams would talk themselves out of it. Now, a team like the Brewers or a team like the Mariners, they should be jumping at the chance to do it. Their lineups are not that good. A team like the Marlins should be jumping at the chance to do it. In interdivision, but look past it. I hate to say it, and it wouldn't happen. Maybe they would DH him if it did. Team like the Red Sox, he'd be a very good fit there. It's always been a right-hander hitter friendly ballpark. Jim Rice, Manny Ramirez, right? So there are teams that he can fit with. Maybe the Angels want to
Maybe.
tell Mike Trout, listen, we'll make a move for you. We'll try to bring guys in here that we can win with. Just a bizarre kind of scenario with you guys. You guys had every opportunity to re-sign the guy. He won Rookie of the Year in
Sure.
2019. I don't understand what took them so long. If you want to say because they're trying to sell the team, whatever. But I'm going to be honest. I kind of expected it to happen when Steve Cohen first took the team over, that he would re-sign Pete Alonso. But what are you going to do?
What are you gonna do? That's just how it is. It's gonna be interesting, but I guess we will find out. We will see. We'll see. But you excited for the first couple of games to come out?
Do you mean like regular season games? Do you mean like spring training games?
Spring training.
Yeah, next week. Wow, that came up quick.
Yeah.
LA at San Diego at 3:10 on ESPN. I'll watch that. No, I won't. I'll be at work. Womp womp.
The apparently with Billy Epler, you know how Billy Epler just got suspended?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Talk to me. You know more about it than I do.
They said a Mets employee provided the MLB info on the faking injury reports. So Billy Epler is banned 1 year. He was in early this February for violating the injured list rules. And according to John Heyman of the New York Post, Epler's injury related records were turned in by a whistleblower believed by a Mets employee to be a Mets employee. While exaggerating or even faking injuries to keeping them from leaving is a prevalent practice, this evidence does not usually wind up on Rob Manfred's desk.
Man, that's why you got to be nice to your employees. Every team does that. Every team does that. The Phantom IL thing. Every single team does that. It's not right. I guess for fans that might be confused about what it is, basically, in fantasy sports, when your guy's not injured anymore, but the guy that you'd cut is pretty good, so you hold on to him just because maybe somebody else will get hurt. Who knows? So you IR stash, same thing, similar kind of thing.
So you're saying it happens more in baseball than you think?
Yeah, yeah, it gets talked about all the time. Josh Donaldson just talked about this when before he requested his release or something like that from the Yankees. He didn't want to be Phantom IL'd or something, or he was Phantom IL'd. Kind of a big story here. So it's nothing new, but people don't say the quiet part out loud. When if somebody hands over documents, well, now the league has to do something. Now the player union has to do something. Be nice to your employees. They can screw you. That's the moral of the story.
I agree. I agree.
What do you think of it? You're a Met fan. It's your team.
I don't know. It's just same old, like I said, same old Jets, same old Mets. I feel like the Mets are more known for the negative news than the good news nowadays. I mean, even though he's not a part of the Mets anymore, but it's just I don't like it. It's not a good look. That's just my take on it.
That's right. You guys don't have a GM.
No, David Stearns is running the show until they find a GM. They waited for them to have a baseball operations, and now they're waiting to find the GM.
I totally forgot that. When I kept seeing Mets ex GM, I was like, I wonder if they just fired him. And I totally forgot that they fired him already.
Yeah, no,
Before
he
any
was
of this
gone.
came out.
Yeah. And now David
Damn.
Stearns is running the show.
So, now I'm really concerned or confused why they did that. Why they whistle blew him. Once again, I guess he screwed someone over. I don't know. I honestly don't know. At this point, why beat a dead horse? The guy's gone. Strange. Huh.
No, I agree.
It's a strange story.
But do you think that wraps up our show?
I do think it wraps up our show. I think we extended this probably longer than we even had to, trying
You know,
to
I
figure out
think
what to say. Um,
all I can say is excited for spring training to come along, and excited baseball's around the corner to coming back. Football just ended, so now it's time to get into baseball and hockey. Well, keep on rolling with hockey and basketball too, but excited for baseball to come around.
yeah, we're gonna go to a hockey game Sunday.
Yes, we'll be at MetLife for the Stadium Series for the Islanders versus Rangers. Let's go Islanders, baby.
I don't know who I'm gonna root for.
Islanders.
Convince me. You guys had the entire train ride to convince me. Probably the
Well,
Rangers.
that's gonna be funny with Cooper. But
What
anyways,
is the Rangers fans?
but anyways, be sure to check up our YouTube channel. For the latest news in the world of baseball and so much more that goes on with the site. We thank you for joining us in another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time.